Okay, so there are 14 characters totally, and you compare this with cycle. So the first character matches over here, but the second character doesn't match over here, right? So first of all, before that, let's fix these things. The number of iterations we are going to have is going to be n minus m plus 1, where n is the length of the string and 5 is the length of this pattern 1, so that's going to be 10 iterations. So the first iteration, we see that there's the first comparison matches, so we do the second comparison, doesn't match, and then the second iteration we compare A with C, they don't match, so we don't need to do the further comparisons. We don't need to compare T with Y, this C with C, and so on. Similarly, when we do the third iteration, we compare T with C, they don't match, so we don't really need to compare C with Y, H with C, and so on. Now we compare C with C, they match, and we don't really need, we have to compare H with Y, but since they are not equal, we don't really need the rest of the comparisons. So in the first and the fourth, we do two comparisons because the C and C match, but rest of the places we don't have any C, right? So everywhere else we'll do one comparison per iteration and then move on, since they don't match. So out of the 10 iterations, we will do two comparisons for two iterations for each for two iterations, and one comparison each for 8 iterations. So totally we will be doing 2 times 2 plus 1 times 8, which is 12 comparisons. Okay. Now for this question, we have 100 zeros, and we are searching for something like this. Okay, so again the number of iterations is going to be 100 zeros minus 5, the search pattern length, so it's going to be 96 iterations. Now in each of these iterations, we'll see that the first two bits match, so we really need to compare these two, and then since they match, the third bit over here needs to be compared with this. Now they don't match, so we don't need to do this comparison, comparing 0 with 0, or we don't need to do comparing 0 with 1, because the third comparison doesn't match. And this is the thing with everything else too, because here the first two bits match with these two zeros and this one doesn't match with a 0. So same thing we do with this, the first two bits match, and we do the comparison, so we end up doing the third comparison, but everything else doesn't match. So basically we will be doing 3 comparisons per iteration, so totally we will be doing 96 times 3, which is going to be 288 comparisons. That's all.